I want to say I started somewhere around 2007 or 8.
Okay.
Like everyone else in my bedroom. I'm not going to name his name, but he was a cranky mother. And I remember asking him for a request one night. And he said this to me that always stuck in my mind. If you think DJing's so easy, why don't you just DJ yourself?
Nice.
Why do you think Fisher's so big? I've played with that guy. That guy makes me want to dance. We didn't have the same. It was like, oh, we got booked for a gig and we did the gig and it went well or it didn't go well. If it didn't go well, somebody was like screaming at me. You know, I'm not going to mention his name. Somebody threw a stapler at me one time. Like, that was bad. Like,
and was it DJ to producer to Chami's label, or was it DJ to Chami's label to producer?
I quickly realized if I want to DJ more, get paid more, or travel more, I'm going to have to make a song people like.
This is Rock Talk, where we document short conversations with experienced people in the Rockwell ecosystem. We are here at One Rock Group HQ today, and we are with Damaged Goods, a world-known DJ producer, the label head at Chami's Confessions record label, a phenomenal human being, and truly a friend for many years on my end. We're going to discuss the entertainment industry and some stories along the way, I'm sure. So let's go ahead and begin, I guess, where we begin. It's early 2010s. We're both working at Opium Group. How long have you been DJing for at that point?
I'm really bad at math, but I want to say I started somewhere around 2007 or 8.
Okay.
Like everyone else in my bedroom.
Okay. How'd you get into DJing? What was the original thought? Why be a DJ?
So I didn't get into it the same way everyone else nowadays is getting into it. I became a promoter and throwing my own party.
Cool. Socialite.
Yep. I had my DJ, the one DJ that I used to book for the party every week. I'm not going to name his name, but he was a cranky motherfucker. And at the time, he was a really big deal.
Okay.
So he DJ'd the party every Thursdays. And at the time, I was bringing sometimes 200 people a night.
Sheesh.
to the party.
On a Thursday night.
On a Thursday night.
Okay, that's wild.
This was at Pawn Shop.
Nice. Love Pawn Shop.
And I remember,
yes, that's where the bus and the airplane were.
Yeah. And I remember asking him for a request one night.
Okay.
He was a cranky motherfucker. And we could curse, right?
Absolutely.
And I asked him for a request, and he said this to me that always stuck in my mind. He goes, if you think DJing's so easy, why don't you just DJ yourself?
Nice. And so you took that upon yourself.
Yeah, because I was kind of pissed. I was like, I'm paying this guy. It's my party. I'm asking him for a request. Play it.
Fast forward, Obi doesn't accept requests.
Yeah, now I'm just like, I'm that guy. So I fired him.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm just going to DJ myself. How hard could it be to DJ?
And you quickly found out.
I went to Sam Ash.
Okay.
Brought my grandma. I got her to apply for a Sam Ash credit card.
There you go.
Rest her soul. Thank you so much. Probably without her, I couldn't afford like my first set of equipment.
Nice.
I had a buddy come over, he gave me a rundown on how to mix a song together. That was it.
Okay.
Which I think that's the basis of DJing. If you could mix one song into another, it's just back to the other side. I did it. And since it was my party, I was out 5-6 nights a week anyways, listening to music. I already knew what we were playing.
Yeah. What works and what works and what people actually want to hear.
Yeah, and I think I naturally had a knack for it. And when I remember the first week, I'd asked, the club owner, Paul Brown.
Yeah.
Paul Brown. I was like, Paul, I was like, I'm going to DJ, so-and-so's out. And he's like, no,
what?
So you don't know how to DJ? And I was like, yeah, but I was like, I want to DJ. I was like, because in my mind, I was like, now I can make the money as a promoter,
sure,
the bar,
and save the money.
And the money I was going to pay the DJ, I was like, I could just pay myself that. Mm-hmm. And at the time, Studio A was opening up.
Okay.
And Paul was like, no. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to move my party there. Worked out a deal. And I told Paul, and he's like, whatever, you can DJ.
Studio A, is that on the beach?
No, Studio A was right
downtown
next to Space.
Yeah.
Remember, it was...
It became Cucaramácara after.
Yes.
That's exactly what it was. I was confusing it with what Dream was originally. Forgot the name of that place.
It was called Studio A, which was a club from New York, which was Studio B, a famous club.
Gotcha.
Same owners. So I told Paul, I was like, yo, I'm gonna DJ. He was like, no. And then finally, when he realized I was gonna take my party, and another place, he was like, just do it. I think hoping that I was gonna fail so that we could just get back to business. And it went really well.
Nice.
It went really well. And that turned into now me working the back room on Fridays for Revolver with Josh Menendez.
That was a very cool party, right? It was very trendy.
Yeah,
it was very in the know.
It was the hipster party.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, it was, I think there was nothing cooler at the time.
Right.
Maybe one of the coolest parties in America.
Yep.
Fast forward, closes, and then Studio A gives me a shot at doing my own party again.
Okay. You didn't have to move it at that point. Pawn shop was closed.
Pawn shop was closed, so it worked out.
Which is crazy because when Pawn shop closed, it was to start the construction of the new bridge of I-95, which is now still being built. And this was 2012, 2011?
Well, it was
closed?
essentially got taken under eminent domain, and they were going to do the art center. And they were supposed to build another theater center right there.
I didn't know. I was told that was supposed to be the exit of the new bridge. And so they needed to work backwards from the project where it would end to then where it starts.
Quite possibly.
But since then, the bridge changed 400 times, and now we got the whole spider thing going on, and let's see how that goes.
I still drive by, and I'm like, I remember when I used to DJ inside a pawn shop. Yeah. Because it was a pawn shop.
It was with your cane and your...
It wasn't like a club that looked like a pawn shop. It was a pawn shop.
And
someone turned it into a club.
Absolutely. Easy way of doing it. So question, was there any early references as a DJ? Because you didn't have the traditional entry point into the industry, right? So normally, if you want to be a DJ, it's because you're seeing another DJ do it really well, and then you want to be that guy or that girl. Yeah, in your case, you didn't have that.
I bypassed everything, and I think that's something that I always advise people to do now. It's like, they're like, oh, how can I DJ more? And it's like, well, throw your own party.
Absolutely. Then it's up to you.
Because if you're at the mercy of a club or a promoter, it's like, they don't know who you are. You have no relevance.
I always say added value. What's your added value? Because if there's 10 guys in the room that can do the same job, they're going to go with the guy that has added value outside of the other 9. And being able to bring people or throw your own party essentially is added value.
And people are going to think I'm bullshitting, but it was like, I could bring 200 to 400 people a night because I was like working my ass off on MySpace promoting.
Right.
And I had something.
Your bulletin board was popping.
Yeah, I had a whole group of friends that like couldn't get into clubs.
Okay.
So I was the gateway in. And back then, I don't know if you remember too, every club had an open bar.
Yeah, for ladies
9 to 10 or 10 to 11.
Yeah.
So it was like, I was able to pitch to these people like, just come, you can drink for free. I'll get you in for free. And that's how it started. So I was valuable to the club. So they couldn't tell me no.
Right. And you put yourself in a position to not be able to be replaced or, be looked over.
Yeah, so it didn't matter if the music sucked. It was like the people were my friends. They were coming here to see me.
I'm sure the music didn't suck, but I'm sure it's also progressively gotten a lot better than that first night at Pawn Shop.
Yeah, and when I first started DJing, I only cared about wanting to play a certain genre, which was, I guess, back then it was called electro.
Okay.
Which was the hipster,
I remember that, yeah.
The Daft Punks, the block parties.
The Jason Mask era.
What?
Jason Mask era, where like DJs were like, I know Juan Fonseca had it in his logo.
You're talking about Mastercraft and stuff like that.
Yeah, with the whole little vibe that was.
I would say it was a very American Apparel, deep V-neck.
Yes.
Angular haircuts.
Yes. Not because you're emo, because you're cool.
Yeah. Where the girls and the guys all had the same haircuts.
Yeah. So we're gonna dive further in your career as a DJ.
Yeah. But that's how I started.
But I did want to I did want to touch on you saying things like back then, right?
Back then, yeah.
And I'm a big believer that Miami's a special place till this day. But the early 2010s, even before that, but obviously I just wasn't on the beach. It was a crazy time. Like I remember seeing a lot of things on the beach in my Opium Group days that you say the story now, and it's unbelievable, right? Like it's not something that it's fathomed. Like people cannot believe that XYZ would go on, at the club, before or after the club, right? What's the craziest thing you've seen as a DJ? And I'm going to assume it's from back then, but it doesn't have to be.
don't know what the craziest thing, because like to me it's like now become a normal thing.
Sure. We're what's it
But-
called? Desensitized, right? Like it's normal.
Yeah, like, you know, even to the point now where like a nipple doesn't do it for me anymore,
Right.
because like I can see them all the time,
Right.
even back then.
Right.
But yeah, man, I think just really quick to touch on that, like I do feel like Miami's gotten soft when it comes to the nightclub.
I agree.
It was like what Will Smith rapped about in Miami. Like it was a really crazy place where nothing like that was happening, perhaps on the entire planet. It was almost like there were no laws and rules once you
Entered the club.
entered a club, you know, and even the police were there inside of clubs I've seen like hitting on girls.
Yep.
Like, you know, there was literally no laws. And I think that like celebrities and cool people, they weren't bothered the same way by like, you know, like now you have like people with cameras and like,
Well,
you know,
everyone has a camera.
yeah, but you know, as soon as like somebody pops in a club, it's like you want a picture with them, you want a video of them, you
Right.
want to show on the internet that, oh, so and so's here. Some of the clubs I DJ'd at, like you'd see like Young Jeezy talking to Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
You know, at a table. Nobody bothering them. Like it didn't even matter.
Nobody even knew they walked in.
Nobody even knew that they walked in.
Who's like the biggest celebrity? It doesn't have to be the biggest celebrity, but who's the one that you were like, oh shit, you know, I'm in the so and so's presence, right? Like who was that big name that you got wowed over, if any?
You're gonna laugh, like, because I don't really care about celebrities in any way. I never ask for pictures or anything like
Likewise.
that. But
I find it super embarrassing.
and I've seen everybody, you know, even Kim Kardashian, like all that. I didn't even care. But one night I'm DJing at set,
Okay.
and
Now, Mr. Jones.
yeah, I'm DJing, and I look down, I'm like, is
It's
that
J-Mac. No, I'm
is
kidding.
that the Black Power Ranger?
No.
Is that the original Black Power Ranger?
No way. What was his name? Not Tommy. Tommy. Was it Zach?
Yeah, that you can't miss him because he's got this tape where
Yes.
it's like
Yes.
it like
Yes.
comes all the way down. And
Yes.
so I like text the manager at the time. It wasn't Eris, and I was
Hey,
just
is
like,
that the Black Ranger at table 62?
No, I
want to
was-
meet him.
I was like, yo, I was like, there's a guy at the table, like, you know, so and so. I was like, is there any way you could bring him to the booth? I'd love to meet him.
Okay.
I never did that for anyone.
And
he's
by the
like-
way, it's probably never happened to him either, where they wanted to meet the Power Rangers.
They brought him up.
So he
and
was excited as shit when he was like, "They want me in the booth."
I remember it was Dana was the manager. She's like, who is this
Oh,
guy? Is he like a DJ? Is he like a
was the
famous DJ? And I'm like,
Is he a
Survivor.
famous DJ?
and you know, at the end, I like asked him for a picture, and I posed for the picture like that.
Nice.
It was cool.
Nice.
But yeah, I got to meet everybody. It was really impressive to meet Nicki Minaj
Okay.
because like her ass is fat. Like that shit was big.
In person.
Yeah, it was like really big. I seen some big booties, but it was like, you know, she can't sit in a regular airplane
No chance.
seat.
No
Like-
chance. The toilet seat is just like hugging.
It was good. But it was
Alright,
cool
so-
meeting everybody and like meeting a bunch of like celebrities back then who just nobody was bothering them, so they used to pop out more.
What do you think changed outside of social media? Because that I think is the biggest factor to all of this, right? Everybody became a paparazzi. So
Yeah.
your privacy went out the window.
Nothing other than like you used to be able to go into a club and feel, you know, like nobody can fuck with me in here.
Right.
Like
Now
I'm not outside on the street. Like the average civilian can't just like come up on me. And the people in a club tended to want to feel cooler than they were, so they wouldn't bother people.
Right. And it kind
But-
of fed what people were looking for. Do you think that was part of the demise where people nowadays aren't looking for that anymore?
For sure. Somebody just sent me, there was a photographer, Nick Flash. I don't know if you
I
remember.
fucking remember Nick Flash from Rock Bar days.
Nick Flash tagged me in a picture from Rock Bar. It was me. He tagged me and Lex Mincola.
Okay.
Everybody was talking to each other. There was not it was like this aerial shot looking down. And there wasn't a single person on their phone at all. Everyone was having a conversation.
I had this exact same conversation with Chris Pacello at the gym the other day. We were talking about, I get goosebumps when it gets brought up.
Keith, his brother, gave me one of my first gigs.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, Keith, his brother. Okay, Keith, was that Rock Bar?
No, it was Bella Rose.
Oh, nice. Shit. Now
Yeah.
do not sit on the furniture.
Yeah, that really is what, if it wasn't for that spot, I don't think I would be here today.
Well, it definitely helped you with your overall brand, right? And I think at the
No.
time you had Overthrow, and it was very cohesive with what Bella Rose kind of became.
Bella Rose was a shithole.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
he
no,
was an
100%.
absolute shithole that these guys had bought, and I don't mean that. It was a dive bar.
Right. It was a shithole by design. It wasn't like, you know.
But we made it a really cool thing on Sundays where, you know, because of the other owner, it was Keith and the guy that did Cocaine Cowboys. He was part of Rack and Tour. He was a producer director. He was in this like producing game, so he knew everyone. So like because of him and because the party was cool, like that party, William Dafoe would show up.
Okay.
The Olsen twins showed up.
You know what? What
Calvin
else?
Klein showed up.
No shit. The Calvin?
Yeah. So like, you know, World Red Eye back when World Red Eye, I felt like back then was like where you really went to like, what was the party like?
Yeah.
What did I miss?
Yeah. And who got tagged and who was there?
We were getting tagged. The party was a really cool party. So it gave us some strength, which brought Roman Jones every Sunday to our party.
Okay. You know, something you would do for that party that to me was cool as
killing.
Shit. The what?
We used to kill someone every.
I do remember that. And they took that idea for the whole Ransom Mondays after Mokai, right? That's where it came from? Okay, yeah. I figured. But no, it was the style of video composed of 4,000 pictures.
Yeah, the stop motion.
A stop motion video, but before anybody knew what that was.
Yeah,
you guys were the first ones to do that in South Florida.
Yeah, we were doing a stop motion where people, the gimmick wasn't a gimmick, but all of us together were pretty creative.
Right.
And we weren't making any money.
That was like, for the sake of
Keith, if I was lucky, sometimes I would get $50. And I was DJing for 7-8 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, the people putting it together, you know, there was a great team of us.
Was Nader part of that?
No.
As far as behind the camera?
No, Nader came in.
Okay.
Nader helped us out a lot after we were like, kind of like a real thing.
Okay. Because I remember he mastered that whole stop motion afterwards. And
I ran into him not too long ago.
Nice.
He was telling me.
He's in Japan now.
Yeah.
God bless him.
Yeah, we killed someone at the party every week through this video of stop motion. And then one of our buddies knew CGI. So we would, you know, through stop motion, he would cut your head off. And, you know, it would look like it was rolling down. And we'd post a video. And it turned into people wanting to come to the party to be killed.
Nice. Okay. So,
and Roman started coming to the parties, and Roman was like, you guys host a party. Come host a party with us. And at the time, we weren't for sale. And we looked at Roman as like, you're the problem with what we're doing.
Right.
You
would mess this up.
Yeah, you are why this is like as cool as it is, because you're on like the mainstream. And he kept coming and asking us to do a party. And it eventually turned into Lex like brokering a deal with him. It's like, all right, well, we want Louis on Friday.
Okay.
And Louis on Friday was, people are going to think I'm capping, but it was the best party club in the planet.
Yeah.
It's the hardest club to get into in the entire globe.
So I heard this, but I never confirmed.
It was easier to get on the moon than it was to get on to Louis. I swear to God, like
depending on your production team, you might
it was
be able
tough.
to do it
and
real
Lex
time.
was finally like, "Yo, like."
Is that where Manny was the ID checker?
Of course.
Okay.
ID checker. He wasn't an ID checker. He was the door. Like,
no, well, you know what I mean, because he was the infamous. Like he didn't have to look to see if it was fake. Just by feeling it, he'd go, "This is fake here," and you're like, "But you didn't even look at it." And you're like, "I don't have to." Right. So I heard years later. I don't know if this is true or not. I'd love to confirm. I heard he worked at the DMV during the day, and that's why he knew everything about IDs.
I don't know about that.
That's what I heard.
It could be though.
I heard he was a DMV guy, and so at night, he could tell by the weight of the ID if this shit's fake.
I mean, most people like weren't getting in anyways.
It wasn't an ID problem. It was a you're not getting in problem.
But yeah, but it was the hardest club, and my buddy Lex, people love Lex.
Yeah.
They always think he is the coolest motherfucker on the planet. He parlayed
was he
a
part
deal.
Of Overthrow?
Yeah, he was part of Overthrow. He parlayed a deal with he got Roman to actually give us Louis on a Friday where we had creative control. I DJ'd. Conflict was there to like clean up my mess a lot of the times.
I was with Jeremy Spun and the whole gang in there.
But if it wasn't for Bella Rose, I don't think I could have gotten into a.
I have a Louis story before we keep going.
Yeah, because I went from making $50 to $1,000
Like now,
overnight,
Yeah.
and then being given set, and
Well, let me tell you
mansion.
about what I remember Obi at Louis. Okay, let's see if you remember this. You're not gonna remember. So it's the night that they remember Tuesdays had that DJ battle.
Oh my God!
Right.
Yes, I remember you guys. You guys.
We were
That's how
in-
you guys really got your start too.
Towards the beginning of it, and
Yeah,
and
you
the
guys
whole
really
open-
made a.
Because before that, we had Cameo, and it was like our thing.
Yeah.
And then we were able now to get into like the smaller Opium Group room that was looked at as like the more high-end venue and not the mass venue.
It was the hardest club to get into on the planet.
It was Mokai before Mokai, right? Because Mokai turned into that afterwards, where it was like
It was on
you had
another
12 feet
level.
to get in.
I really I can't imagine a harder place to get into.
Well, check this out. Conflicts DJing. I'm sorry, this is not. It was the
Tuesday.
same correlation. It was a Tuesday, but it was the last day that Louis was going to be open.
Oh
Do you
God,
remember this?
I remember it very well.
Okay, so let me explain to you what I remember. Conflicts DJing. One of the DJs we represented at the time had won the battle.
I hope it's the story you're going to tell me, because if not, I got another story about that.
That was that DJ that won the battle was playing this night, the last night of the club being open. I forget who the manager was. I believe it was a girl. I don't think it was Dana.
Dana did it for a while.
And then it was
Sushi.
Dana. Sushi. There you go. Before she transferred over to Mansion. So Sushi was just, the whole bar's got to go. She was giving people
Yeah.
bottles, drinks, whatever you wanted. We're here to party. We're here to celebrate. Louis, great run, blah, blah, blah. Conflicts playing. Last day, I turn around from the bar. I have goosebumps everywhere, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah, I
story is
remember
real.
it.
I look into the booth and I see Obi with a frame that has a picture that was infamous in the wall there by the DJ booth.
Yeah, that's
And
what I
Obi
thought.
has full frame. This is a gold like case around the frame. It looks expensive, does not look fragile. And this guy's like in the middle of a festival with this frame going bananas, right? Mind you, I'm all the way at the other side of the room by the bar when you walk in, right?
Yeah,
They
I
had
started
that
taking
throne.
pictures and shit off the wall and like breaking them over my knees.
Yes. So now we go full rock star moment, right? Breaking the frames.
Yeah, because in my mind, I'm like, yo, the club's
Closing. They
It's
don't
closing.
need this, right? Like they wouldn't move
and
this.
they
to
got
set.
like some crazy deal from the hotel that bought them out. It wasn't like they went out of business.
Well, you're breaking expensive looking frames, right? And then I turn around real quick, and when I look back around, right, all the frames are gone, and you have a Don Julio Reposado bottle in your hand, and I don't know if it was what was the Atlanta Falcon end zone dance, the Dirty Bird or whatever it was called. It was a thing back then. All I remember was you grabbing the bottle and full touchdown spiking.
Yeah.
Woo! Glass everywhere. And you just start doing the Atlanta Falcon, like Dirty Bird dance in the booth. Mind you, you probably were supposed to be DJing. Conflict saved the day. But that's how I remember Obi at Louis.
Dude, Justin, that night when he saw me breaking he saw me rip it off the wall, and he comes over, he's like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, it's the last night.
You're like, damaged
There's
goods.
no more stuff. And he's like, all of this shit's going in storage tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
You guys do that?
He's like,
Justin,
yes.
he's got a club on the West Coast right now with all the Louis decor that you didn't break.
Bro,
No, I'm just kidding.
Some of it got moved to Mansion, I remember, but like I broke a bunch of it and he was like pissed. Luckily, he loved me enough to, I think, let it slide, but he was just like, what are you doing?
I guarantee you there's security footage somewhere still circulating of, hey man, do you remember when Damaged Goods did this to our paintings? You know, like he still has it on a Dropbox somewhere.
He saw me take one over and like break it over my.
I remember it
knee
specifically,
that night.
full WrestleMania style, like knee going up while legs are going down, full crack mode.
I didn't.
So we go from DJing because you wanted to replace the guy that you were paying to do a shitty job to
He did a great job.
well, a great job with a shitty attitude. Okay. Then we transfer over to big breaks.
I also realized this, and I'm just sorry to
ahead.
cut you off, because you realize that the better DJs get and the longer they DJ, their attitudes tend to be shitty.
Absolutely.
Why
Why do you think that?
It's because they're grumpier.
Sure, but why? Like
I think they've earned the right to now, like,
rightfully or in their head?
in their head,
Okay.
because I've definitely I'm not that chippy, like, yeah, let's break shit.
Yeah.
I'm just like, let's get in, let's get out,
break shit.
let's make sure everything stays the way
Right.
it got here. Let's not spill any drinks. But yeah, you don't want to, as you get higher in your field, you don't want to you don't want some idiot to tell you what to do.
Yeah, I can see that. Do you think that there's a bit of, I might be stretching, I might be completely wrong. I'm throwing it out there to get your feedback on it. Do you think it's due to like a lack of plan, and then you get older and now you're like, I'm still doing the same thing from 10 years ago?
No, I think it's like,
because I've noticed the grumpier
it's
DJs.
an entitlement thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the grumpier DJs are the ones that stay
They're
stagnant.
not grumpy. We're not grumpy. We just appear to be grumpy because that's what we like to
give off. Okay. That's good to know.
No one's grumpy to get paid to play music for the most part.
Yeah, unless you like take it for granted, right? Like where you're like, now I know I get paid to play music, so just pay me to play music and I don't have to look like I'm enjoying it.
It's not like you're making like McDonald's salary
You know
serving
what I mean?
people. It's pretty good. It's just like an entitlement. I believe it's an entitlement.
Well, on that same topic then, I've noticed a trend. Do you use laptop or USBs these days?
I prefer Serato.
Okay.
But then when it comes to like certain gigs where it's maybe a shorter set and something where I know like I don't have to cater to a room, it's more of like for Music Week, every gig was on a jump drive because I knew I was going to get to play a really cool set of what I chose to.
It was artist driven versus room driven.
To educate. I don't know if educate's the word, but like to bring you something you never heard before.
Okay.
As opposed to a lot of the open format where it's
a little more.
I don't know what.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to come tonight.
Right.
I don't know what I should play till I'm there.
Have you noticed a trend where connecting with the audience seems to be a lot more important these days than before? Where if you're not dancing and you're not showing like the energy, you don't get it back from the crowd.
100%. I was a lot better at it before, but it all depends on like how.
It's probably the frames and the tequila that would allow you to do that.
I mean, it was like I was more excited. Things were different back then. It's different now. Like the energy's not there like it was.
Right.
But why do you think Fisher's so big?
He gives off that.
Like, yeah, he did. He did come out with Losing It.
Right.
But I can't say that Losing It is why he's like headlining festivals.
Everything.
Like,
yeah.
I've played with that guy. That guy makes me want to dance. Like he does. He really gives off this vibe, and that really sells the crowd. And you can see it's genuine. It's not like a fake
I was just
thing.
gonna say that it's not something he fabricates 10 minutes before walking in. You
There's
can tell he loves it.
nothing worse than seeing a DJ that has the laptop right in front of them.
Mm-hmm. It looks like they're at a desk job.
And they're at a desk job and they're as grumpy as possible. Maybe they're not as grumpy, but they look grumpy because they're so focused
in the zone, right.
in what they're going to play next.
I've heard this where it's like, we're 4 songs ahead. So what you're hearing right now, we're not like, that's not in our head. We're thinking 2, 3, 4 songs ahead, right? We're setting up that 4th song from now. So, it's not that we're like grumpy or not like, it's that we're in the zone. We're literally in a different time than the crowd.
If you're a good DJ, you're already planning on where you're about to take this in 10 minutes.
Correct. And that makes sense to me because you're essentially storytelling through the music, through the experience.
I do feel back then the only difference is I was able to like bring the crowd like something they didn't know before, as opposed to now it's like they just want shit they know.
Yeah, they want to hear what they recognize and go ape shit.
Like people are gonna think I'm capping too, but like I might have been the first person to really play dubstep in a bottle club.
Yep.
It didn't work at first, but I figured out ways to like mix it in, and it became a thing. So we were like booking Rusco at Mansion.
I remember you also would do in a more open format house night. You were one of the first ones to drop like a gangster ass hip hop song mid set, right? Just redo the whole room, specifically Super Fridays at Mansion.
Yeah.
Right. That it was that big room house type of sound, and then you just out of nowhere like a Pusha T track, and the whole room would just be like reset. You know what I mean? Like. You get the reaction where I don't think that same reaction existed.
Not to diverge, but like I watched DJ RockTalk.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember RockTalk. I credit him as like one of the best DJs I'd ever seen.
All right, so that'd be one of your references.
Him and Ross One. I got to watch those 2 DJs a lot, and they did something that before then I was never doing. I would always start a night here and end up here.
Right.
As opposed to one night I remember watching RockTalk, and he kept telling, bringing you up and down. And then I was like, oh shit, well, you can't really give them something big without taking them down a little bit every 10, 15 minutes.
Right. I had a mentor that he would always say, not as a DJ, but me managing the DJs, right? Like, let the people go buy a fucking drink. If you're just hitting them and hitting them and hitting them, they're dancing, they're in the zone before you know it, an hour and a half has gone by. The bar's empty, dude. Like, get them to go buy a drink.
Yeah.
Like, bring them, you know what I mean? Bring them down a little.
It was tough too, because a lot of people don't realize as well, like me and some of the other DJs you might know, like we didn't have the same. It was like, oh, we got booked for a gig and we did the gig and it went well or it didn't go. If it didn't go well, somebody was like screaming at me.
Oh, mid-set.
While there was 2,000 people at Mansion like staring at me.
Yes.
Or, I'm not going to mention his name. Somebody threw a stapler at me one time, like at my back. Like, that wasn't, so.
And that was also normal.
Yeah,
Going back to the whole, no laws.
So really a lot of the times was like, it was like, if I'm going to do something, I need to make sure it works.
Right.
And if it doesn't work, I have to figure out how to get out of it really quick.
Really fast. Correct. And that added pressure definitely.
Because I don't think people in Chicago are getting staplers thrown at them.
No chance.
I don't know. I could be wrong, but like.
I would go with Opium Group was a special time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we go from we go from promoter to DJ to trendy, I think, leader in the space of the hipster kind of vibe within Bella Rose and everything that came from it. You were able to find a way to bring that to the mainstream without necessarily selling out, right? Because Louis still was true to the brand.
Yeah, everything that we did, we were able to at least take full creative control.
Right, which then prevented it from going.
Yeah, it was like we designed the art. We only DJ'd.
Okay.
Like for example, Louis, they wore uniforms we created.
Okay, for the staff.
Yeah.
Very nice. That place was very like, besides Roman's porcelain statue that it was very known for, it was very hipster.
It was like literally like an opium den. And it was like a storage for the hotel before they like did it like that.
That makes sense. I mean, STK was the only thing that was relevant back then, right? And then they had Coco, which was like a small little lounge. You would grab a couple drinks. So how do we go from that to leading, Chami's record label? How do we transition, and was it DJ to producer to Chami's label, or was it DJ to Chami's label to producer?
I quickly realized if I wanted to DJ, because I fell in love with DJing. I was like, this is all I want to do. My dad fired me from, I was working with him. He fired me and I was like, okay, cool. So I got to make this work now.
Yeah.
And I was making good money. And I got really fortunate to be in like, Roman and Justin hooked me up the way they did because I was playing 4 or 5 nights in like the best clubs in Miami. Mm-hmm.
And for a decent rate. It's not like they were.
Yeah, and it wasn't like I was just DJing. Like they gave me more than I felt they gave everyone else. Like Carlos Correal, I would have meetings with him on who they should book. Like not DJ wise, but like artists, like big one. Like, so they hooked me up a lot, man. I haven't
heard Carlos's name in 15 years.
Carlos Correal. He's now the head talent buyer for Insomniac.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he runs shit.
Nice.
And Najib works with him as well.
I knew Najib went on there, but now it makes sense.
I believe that he's under Carlos.
Cool.
Yeah, and then I realized quickly, I was like, shit, if I want to DJ more, get paid more, or travel more, I'm going to have to make a song people like.
Okay.
I can't necessarily say I've like succeeded in that. I got into producing music and I made music I really liked and learned a lot on the way. And, so I became a producer. It did help me because, weirdly enough, I did this song that did really well. An electro song, but for some reason became popular in Trinidad.
Okay.
So I got booked in Trinidad all the time. Or this one song that I did got big in Korea. So I played in Korea like 3 times. So I've had some success. I wouldn't say to like the level I would have loved or I would have wanted. But I realized if you want to get bigger and you want those gigs that you see everybody else doing, you're going to have to make music.
We go back to the added value, right? Now the music becomes the added value because people will go to hear you play your music.
Yeah.
And the venue has to book you to be able to get that in return.
I remember I opened up for Calvin Harris one year. This wasn't Calvin Harris now. This is Calvin Harris like acceptable in the 80s, back when he was like when he was an artist that like played every instrument and sang. I opened up for him. He had a DJ set. He got 20 grand, I remember.
Back then.
Yeah, and I was just like,
I want 20
I was like,
grand.
wow. Like, how did he, why? And, you know, in my mind, I was just like, well, he made this song we really want to hear. So we want to see him. So that's what got me into it. Fast forward, I got lucky enough to meet Chami. Blake, my manager now, was tour managing him.
Okay. So that's how the correlation came in.
Yeah, Blake was tour managing him. And I've never been a person that was like, yo, can you tell Chami to hear my demo? Hey, can I meet Chami? I was just like, that's your thing. And I really had massive respect. The guy like created a whole genre of music,
right,
and was killing it at the time. Coincidentally, he tells me he lives in Miami.
Was it Future House?
Yeah,
that was like the term.
Yeah, I guess him and Oliver Heldens are credited with creating Future House. I say it's Chami, but
sure,
some say it's both.
Chami.
So we got to meet over. We both love Cuban coffee.
Okay, Miami. Who doesn't?
Yeah, we met up at.
I know you're gonna say Tinta.
Latin Cafe 2000.
Okay, Biscayne and 29th.
He lived right by there, so we walked over there and we hit it off. We had a lot of the same interests, and he just needed somebody to help answer emails at the label.
Okay,
that's how it started.
What was your title then?
I don't even know. I guess you'd call it A&R, but it was like guy that works for free to help us.
Yeah, A&R plus, aka everything else. And what's the role or the title now?
Now I run the label. I manage it.
So you'd say the head of label? Is that what the proper term would be?
I struggle with that, you know. So boss. It's his label, but luckily
record label boss.
Luckily now he's given me full range to do what at least I believe he lets me. He run it as if it was mine.
Okay.
He knows like I would die for the label, so like
there's a trust level in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think he's seen that some of the moves I've made, even without his consent, have made the label lots of money.
Positive moves.
Yeah, positive moves.
What does a day to day look like for a head of a label? What are some tasks? What are some things that you do besides everything, right? Because I know that's the right answer, but what are some of those everythings for somebody listening that's like, man, I really like music. I want to get into the music industry. Is a record label where I want to start? What would you say, is some things that they could look forward to?
What you look for from a record label is a stamp of approval.
Okay.
It's like, oh shit.
Towards the music?
Yeah, it's like, oh, if so-and-so can get on Chami's label or Spinnin' or whatever label, that means they're,
the music's good.
People, they're like solid.
Right.
I don't know. I think that's the best way to describe it.
And so you're screening a lot of music. Is that probably most of your time, the bulk of it? Demos that are sent or things that
I get about 1,000 demos a month.
Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you welcome demos? Is this something that you want people to send?
I want people to send me stuff, yeah.
Where should they send it? So Paul puts it right here.
I don't even want to tell you. You got to find it on the internet. Do your work.
Do your work so we know if they're listening to this, it's kind of like work though.
Demos at Confession Label, and we will jam out to your demos. Or track stacks. We now have a track stack.
Nice. That's definitely the easiest route, huh?
Yeah.
I just learned about all of
it. I learned about it as well because before I was...
or whatever it's called, right? Flight list, flight track, something like that.
Yeah, because I was listening to or I was reading an email where it's like, you have no idea how much this meant to me, and I am 19 years old from Jerusalem, and I'm struggling with this, and my dad has cancer, and this song inspired this and this and that, and you're just like, fuck. Just give me the song.
Right. Now what do I say?
I can't release a song if your dad has cancer just because, you know, like...
It's got to be a good song.
Yeah, I sympathize, but it's always like a paragraph. Don't give me that. Just send it. If I like it, I'll like it.
If you like it, then you'll write to take the paragraph. What's the story behind this? Now you're a little more interested.
Yeah.
But don't send the whole 2-page email and now you're not interested in the track that you would have listened to if it would have just been an attached.
I had this one kid tell me he was battling cancer, but it was a really good song. And I was like, damn, that's really cool. And I put out the song. The song did really well. And the kid, to this day, he'll send me like this heartfelt message. It's like, you helped me like get through this. And I was like,
I mean, great. Yeah. It's moving. It's, but at the end of the day, the job is to make sure that the sound reflects and that everything is on brand.
Yeah. But I do think people nowadays, I wish I took the advice I'm about to give. It's like, if you really like your song, put it out. There's ways to put out your own music without a label. Don't let your songs die in your computer.
what would be the best way to, so they put it out, right? They're gonna have to do their homework. They're gonna have to figure out how to release on one of these
DistroKid
third parties,
or-
distros,
yeah.
you know, $10, they put it up. But what should they do to actually get that song heard?
It's tough these days.
It is, huh? Because there's so much music out there floating
It's tough
around.
these days. I do believe though that one thing that we didn't have before is this really dope algorithm that I believe nowadays more than ever. It's like if the song is good, somehow it can grow.
Right.
You know, like yes,
It's almost
$1 million
quality
budget will
facing.
help you.
Yeah, it'll help you in whatever you're trying to do.
But somehow, sometimes like, these songs make it on a TikTok video that go viral.
Mhm.
Like,
Only based on the song being good, right?
or bad.
Would you say that the industry's, I think the world overall, but if we're talking about the entertainment music industry, it is kind of gearing back towards quality, where like if
No.
you're good, people care, and if you're not, and I'm not saying, hold on, because I know where your head's going. I'm not saying like the latest track by insert popular name here and it's trash, but people love it anyways because it was that guy's song. I'm saying like the undiscovered artists, there's a chance to get discovered based on actual talent, where
Yeah.
before
Yeah,
it was very limiting. Like you had certain routes to get discovered, and if you didn't explore those routes, you were not going to get discovered. Now you could essentially, you know, kind of make it on your own to a point where then you could get the help that you need.
Yeah, because you got these kids, man, like Blake and John manage this kid Leondis, who's he makes great music. He's a really awesome like human being. I love the kid. He makes good music, but understood how to somehow make it go viral on TikTok.
Nice.
You know, without a big, huge budget. Yeah. And get the attention of the chain smokers.
Nice.
So you do.
But you don't do that with a shitty track if you're a no name, you know? So I think it's important for people to stop putting out everything and like put out what really reflects you. At the end of the day, if you're building your brand and you put something out that's trash, that's what your brand will be known for.
Yeah, or what I tell people, one problem is now is that everything sounds the same. You know, like, you know, you love Dom Dolla. I said this in another interview. And so you want to make music that sounds like Dom Dolla. And that's like Dom Dolla's sound. Like,
Right.
what's your sound? Because Dom Dolla made this track like 6 months ago.
Which means you're behind.
You're behind. Like, what do you sound like? You know,
What does 3 to 6 months from now sound like, right?
Yeah, and like I think one problem too is like people take too much. They want to know what you think. They want to know what you think. They want to know what you think.
What the hell do you think?
Yeah, like fuck what you think. Like, what do I think as a person that made the song? Do I like this song?
Does it represent me properly?
Yeah. Like chances are people are not going to like it. You know,
Yeah.
like
Especially if it's your first one.
yeah. And granted, like I listen back at some of my old shit and I'm like, this sucks, yeah. But I didn't put it out because so-and-so told me like they didn't like it.
Right. But without those failures, you don't get to the one or two that you do like because you learned everything you didn't like through that process. And I think it's also important to go through it, even though, you know, it doesn't have to live somewhere if you're not proud with it.
Yeah.
But you did learn from it regardless of the fact.
I just say, you know, I think it's important to like make music that's unique to you so that we all stop sounding the same.
I agree. The term artist is that, right? Express yourself as an artist. And I feel like now it's almost act like an artist. And that's the complete opposite of what an artist stands for, right? You're not acting as anything except yourself. You're being true to yourself and you're finding ways to express yourself through art, in this case, music, right?
Yeah, because here's the other problem people don't realize is the industry is slightly different than it was back then, where now the agents, the managers, the festivals really dictate who is popular.
Right.
It's hard to cut through. So if you're sounding like a Dom Dolla, why are they going to put you on? They already got Dom Dolla on the lineup, and he's already selling a
He's
million
already
tickets.
killing it. He's bringing the
But if
body.
you sound really cool and you're making some buzz with like this new experimental music or something that you really dig, like that'll get you. Like,
I don't know his story, and I might completely sound crazy right now, but Motrack came out of nowhere like that, right? Because he had kind of a different sound, and all of a sudden he was just landing festivals. And
I remember him from those videos during the pandemic
Right.
where he was like,
Right.
It goes back to like, yo, if you're engaging with the crowd, like it's that's people want that.
Yeah.
People like that. They want to see that guy that was like partying.
They engage with it.
Because I can't tell you a Motrack track to save my life.
Me neither, but we have his set playing all the time here, different sets, and it's like
Yeah.
Bro, I'm in my office watching, and he's like, "You're in tune with the guy." Like
Yeah, people don't understand too, like, because he's Brazilian.
his set sound a little different. He's got like a special sound to him, even though it's that tech house kind of.
Brazil is so fucking ahead of everybody on music. Their shit is so cool, and you don't understand. Like, they got clubs out there that could fit like 20,000 people.
Yeah,
in a jungle,
longest amphitheater vibes,
and people all show up. They party like, and the music is so rad. Our label puts out music from this guy Victor Liu, and like Victor Liu can't really sell too many tickets here, but in Brazil, that guy's like, he's like one of the only EDM artists to be allowed to do a party in a favela.
No shit.
With the entire favela out there like partying, you know, and one of the most like dangerous ones too.
Right.
So I don't know, like Brazil has this way of like, you know, they're their own ecosystem.
Yeah. Is it ahead of time or like in another galaxy? Like, is this stuff that we'll hear in the States after this summer, or is this like?
I feel like we're just catching up to whatever they're on last year.
Okay.
You know,
so they're like in another.
They're on this minimal bass thing that's like just cooler than everybody else's. And the Brazilians are so dope.
I mean, they got tons of rhythm and they even fight in style, right? What's their MMA out there is like Kumba something or no, where they dance and they fight at the same time, basically.
I forget what it's called, but yeah,
something ton.
It's interesting though because a lot of people don't get to hear what's going on in Brazil because Brazil doesn't get a lot of what we get, from my understanding, and we don't get a lot of what Brazil. They're their own ecosystem, and they don't really seem to allow it to leave. It's their thing that they like. They're like, this is our shit.
And I'm all right.
We don't care if you like it or not,
but you can't take it. And I'm all right with that.
You should check out Victor Liu. Victor Liu's stuff is really dope. And then you got like A-Lock, where here he'll fill up a club.
Okay.
But A-Lock in Brazil sells out a soccer stadium.
No shit.
Like an arena.
Is he Brazilian?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. I'm familiar with the name down here, but that's crazy.
Or Vintage Culture, like he does really well here, but over there it's, you know, he's godlike.
Were they big already a year or 2 years ago, and like now they're coming over here, or do you think the States make them blow up on a global scale? I
think it's just like, you know, that little bit of that's hearing their sound out there is like, oh, we want to catch it.
We like this.
And there's also a lot of like stupid people in America where just like, oh, we like this person because he's big.
Sure. Yeah. But how do you get big?
He's got 20 million followers. I like him.
Right.
Everyone else likes him.
Gotta be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess the key takeaway on the music end is be yourself, be true to yourself, be genuine, create something for you.
You'll have better luck that way.
You know, and be known for your thing versus trying to be known for someone else's thing. And I think that's very valuable advice almost in any career, but on any artistic career even more, because you need to stand out for the right reasons. Nowadays, I think too many kids or younger people think that like, I need to stand out for the crazy reason, right? Let me see what I can do to go viral. But if you make a song that's amazing and it goes viral, then that should be the goal if you're a musician. Not go viral because you ran, you know, naked in a soccer field. Like, that
I'm too old, so I don't understand that stuff. Like, but it seems to work also.
Go viral, bro. Yeah. So I want to transition back to DJ talk. I said we would do that. We spoke about music and producer route. In the DJ world, what are some lessons you've learned that really stand out? Like, what are some key takeaways that you to this day still remember and essentially use?
I like to DJ.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if it's house music or Spanish music or whatever. I like people to dance. Through DJing, I realized that's
your fix.
That's my thing. It's not like that I needed to play house music and only house music. And I learned that it's very important to constantly be looking at my crowd.
Okay.
Are they happy? Who's here? I've become a very good judge of character where I see all right, these girls look like they want some like pop music, but this crowd looks like they want Spanish music, but these guys look like hip hop people. So how do I make everybody happy and balance it all out?
And essentially have them all dance together, right? Because you want to create an energy that's synergetic.
So I think it's important to play for the crowd.
Okay.
You know, not only the crowd, but like yourself as well. Like you should enjoy your set. Like for me, I might play some cheesy ass shit. But that cheesy ass shit, I really like it.
Okay.
What you're not going to catch me doing is playing, you know, something I don't like I'll find a way to make everybody happy with something I like and
In your way.
in my way.
So the lesson would be find a way to read the room properly, but also, don't kind of just let the room
play for the
dictate,
crowd.
right?
It's very important to play for the crowd, but like
do it your way.
do it your way.
Absolutely. Okay. And
I do hear of some people, and I've some people I've worked with, I'm like, why are you playing this? And they're like, yeah, well, this, it looks like they wanted Britney Spears or something. I'm like, do you want Britney Spears? Right. Is there something else you could have played other than Britney Spears?
Or a Britney Spears edit that maybe would have been a little cooler.
Yeah.
I look at DJs as business owners, right? You guys are essentially own your own business, your own brand. It's got multiple departments. It's got multiple necessities as a business. And obviously businesses rely on systems to essentially stay alive and to make things easier.
That is one thing most people in the DJ world have no knowledge of.
Correct. But I know you do, in the sense of your involvement in other things within the industry, right? Whether it's been throwing your own party originally or the record label or, you as a business as far as a producer and a DJ. So what are some systems that you rely on to operate or survive throughout your day-to-day?
I mean, back then it was like, why would the club book me if I can't bring anybody?
Okay.
It doesn't matter if I'm a good DJ.
Okay.
So like, I got to figure out how to promote myself and at least have a guest list.
Sure.
I don't do it as much anymore because I've found such a distaste for it, but it is very important to promote yourself like regularly on, on like social media. Like,
and what are some systems you use or that help you stay active on social media? Is there anything app wise or just like on Mondays, I do this,
I'm the worst person now to ask that question.
Awesome.
But I do see some people like, for example, Chisel.
Okay.
Chisel stays very active on social media.
Yeah, he crushes that. Him and I spoke a few months back about that. I gave him his flowers on like.
He seems to like it.
He loves it.
I hate that.
I hate it.
I hate to like pose in front of like something that I don't even fucking care about.
Correct. I don't
just
want
because
this picture.
I feel I have to look like I'm somewhere important.
Right.
Right.
It is part of the game.
It is part of the game.
Playing that,
but I know that for a fact, like I might lose a gig to him because of how his Instagram looks.
Correct.
Because it looks like he's busier than I am.
Correct.
And
I think there's ways to still get that content without having to do it in a way that you don't want to do it. And I mean, selfishly, that's part of why we're having this conversation is so that I can get content that's actually real, genuine, and I feel provides value versus me taking a picture, like you said, maybe in front of something I don't even care about. And I don't want the picture saved on my phone. I'm just going to throw it to my social media timeline and then forget about it, right? Like I'm now posting for the people seeing the post, not for me, the guy making the post. And I hate
it also hurt me a lot too, to like I post a picture of my dog.
3 million likes.
Yeah. But then I like post a song I made that I worked really hard on that I believe
likes.
in. And it's like, or people like, oh, you still making music? It's like, I have a dog though, right? So
they know your dog by name and shit. They're like, hey, so how's so-and-so doing?
But they're asking me if I produce music, and it hurt me to a point. Just like I was like, why am I gonna do this? Like,
right.
And
for you. Like, not for me.
I felt like I got so, well, like tooting my own, but I felt like I got so creative that unless it's done to like a degree that I'm like different from Chisel, different from this person, different from everybody, I don't want to do it.
Right.
I don't want to do it.
If you're almost confining to it at that point.
I got lucky where at least like now I still work, a good amount because of, I don't know, people I hope that people know that if they book me, it's going to be good.
They know what to expect.
You're not going to, for the most part, there's not going to be any issues.
They know what to expect. What would be some words of advice on how to enter the DJ industry? So I want to be a DJ. What are some, one takeaway that they should really be working on if they want to get into this industry?
Quit.
Just quit while you're ahead.
No, like it goes back to the thing. It's like everyone's a DJ. I DJ'd a gig in Tampa like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
11 people introduced themselves to me as DJs.
Okay.
2 people introduced me to their girlfriend who was a DJ.
And they were a DJ as well?
No.
Okay, good.
This guy, this is my girlfriend. She's a DJ.
Okay.
And I was just like, everyone's a fucking DJ. There's not enough clubs in Tampa for all of you to work.
Not enough clubs in the world.
So now everyone's a DJ. Everyone can be a DJ. The new equipment makes it so easy to DJ.
Yes.
You hit sync master and like it's hard to fuck up. And as long as you go to Beatport and just download the top 25 tracks, you're good. Or you go to 1001 track list and
You'll get 90 minutes in anyway.
What did John Summit play?
Right.
I'll play that. That'll work.
That'll work.
So it goes back to what I said. It's like, unless you got a song people want to book you for, or you're throwing your own party, try to figure out how to throw your own event of some sort. That's the only way I could think of how to DJ. I felt like if I had to be a DJ today, I would have never been able to do it.
Right. There's too many hurdles almost in it, and there's too much supply and not enough demand. There's too many DJs and not enough places.
I didn't have to, nobody had to take pictures of them standing in front of a stair.
7 cameras in the booth. You brought them all, and then you whip out what you need to play, 2 USBs. Yeah. But you brought a whole production team with you for the content now, you know, but here's the actual music part.
I worked really hard, man, and I did a lot of things that I feel like people nowadays maybe couldn't do, wouldn't do. Like some of my first gigs were like 8 hours.
Yep.
I don't know, like, you know, could the average person coming in, maybe a person that's been DJing for 2 years, can they DJ for 8 hours? Right. I don't know. Can they? Like 8 hours is a long fucking time.
It's a long ass time. And if it's
people tell me
your
like,
first gig,
so-and-so did 12 hours at Space.
Yeah, that's different. That's like a marathon set with songs that are 10 minutes each. We're talking about a fast-paced open format room for 8 hours. You're going through a lot of songs.
Yo, like, try playing in a movie theater lobby for 12 hours. Just so that you could continue DJing and not giving up. Yes. Which is what I did. It was so,
what movie theater was that?
It was iPick.
Okay.
When I first opened, I got this gig. It was like, it wasn't 12 hours, 10 hours every Saturday.
Jeez.
Man, and it was brutal, but I did it because I wanted to be a DJ. I needed money to
Hold on, it was brutal, but how much did you learn at iPick that you probably still to this day are like, oh man, I know how to do this because for 6 hours I practiced on how to get out of this genre or how to use this effect or
I think it
whatever.
checks your ego.
Absolutely.
It checks your thing where it's just like, yo, this is a job. You know, obviously I'm not like playing a festival. People don't even care I'm here, but I still have to do a good job.
Correct.
And how do I figure out now? Because like for me at the time I was getting $1,000.
Okay. For a whole day work.
Yeah. Which at the time to me was like, it could have been $10,000. I was just like, yes, you know, and it was just like, all right, I don't want to lose this gig. So what do I need to now learn to play to keep my job here?
Okay.
So that made me like better at like, okay, I'm not just an EDM DJ. Let me play R&B. Let me play pop hits. What's playing on the radio? What's this? What's that? And now how do I do it for 10 hours?
Right.
You know, because DJing for an hour,
anybody could do that these days.
Anybody could do that.
I feel like I could do that these days, and I am not a DJ. I want to message. I get lost for words sometimes, right? We get a lot of DJs, right? I don't think these are people that are learning how to DJ. I think these are DJs that know how to DJ in their right mind, right? Whether that's good or bad, that's not here nor there. They reach out to Rockwell and they're like, hey man, you know, how do I work with you? And I find sometimes it's difficult to even screen people properly these days without screening your personality, right? Because I'm a big believer that the music component, like you just mentioned, it's so easy to put out these days that the businesses, the venues at the end of the day that are booking the talent, what they're looking for, what I look for as a booker, for example, is 3 things. Right person, right? Did this person present themselves properly? Did they come at me correct? Were they entitled? Did they feel like I owed them something when I don't? Like, what is it that they're coming to the table to have a conversation about, right? So are they the right person? If that box doesn't get checked off, we don't get to box 2. There's no chance this will work because then you're the same guy that shows up to the gig and doesn't introduce yourself to the manager. You're the same guy that leaves the gig, not to say that Obi hasn't done this before, but, you know, and forgot to get your check, right? Like, so we already know that if you're late to our phone call, that you're probably going to show up right on time for the gig, which means that I'm going to get a call 15 minutes before you were supposed to start saying the DJ's not here
man.
yet.
Like, I maybe been late twice in my life for not reasons that I could control. I was always, man, an hour early. 30 minutes early, set up.
Especially starting off.
Saying hi to the security guard, saying hi to the bartenders, bringing sushi, some treat, like some, I can't remember what I used to bring her, but there's some sweets she used to like from South Beach. Like, you know, like that's what people.
That's playing the game to me in a way that's worth it. Because you're building relationships, and those people, how many security guards do we see go and become managers, later down the line, and how many, managers went on to be, club owners, and and then they remember the relationship that you built or fostered organically, right? Because you wanted to, not because you had to. And if you're not the right person, you don't want to, you have to. So I think it's the right person. Second box becomes professional, right? On time, dressed right, doesn't get hammered at the gig, shakes hands. Like, there's a professional element to it. So you're a good person, you're good at business, right? You're good at carrying yourself the way you're supposed to. And then third is you play the right music and you do it in a good way, right? Would you agree with kind of that order of priority, looking at it from a booker or a manager at a venue, not a DJ to a DJ?
Yeah, it's tough, man, because like back when I started, there was only 10 DJs.
Right. And 20 venues.
Yeah. Like that was it, so it was easier. I've met a few artists now as I run the label, and I take artists that I believe in, and it's like, how'd that conversation go? Is this person just doing this because it's like trendy right now? Or is this person really like trying to make some moves
and passionate about it at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, because you get a lot of people that are just like, oh, I want to try DJ. I heard you guys make a lot of money.
Right. And you do it in an easy way. And I can play music.
Everybody likes you.
Everybody likes you guys.
So, I don't know, man. It's tough these days to I take it from like a human element of like, why am I going to sign your song? Mm-hmm. I don't just take into account like how good the song is or how popular a person is. Like, is this person going to grow with me?
Or is this a waste of time where I'm doing a favor that I'm not going to get anything down the line out of?
Yeah, and I've been burned a lot of times, so now I'm just like, I'm a little more cautious how I move, but...
Likewise. So, specific topic for you, and I believe you've been in both seats before, on left and right side of it, no pun to the seats. So venues kind of have a choice to make when it comes to their DJs. They can go route one, a weekly resident, right? You're my Friday DJ. You're here every Friday. The other route is more of a rotation schedule where maybe, you have 8 DJs playing once a week, right? What are pros and cons, route one versus route two?
All right, here's the thing, because I'm guilty of it as well, too. And the club, the bartenders, the manager might tell you something always. Hey, I already know this set. I already know you're going to play these 3 songs. It's like, okay, cool, but it works really well.
Right.
And these people here have never been here.
Right.
They're tourists. They're
if they are here again from last Friday, they've had 7 days go in between. Where,
I do the Soldier Boy set where like people will call me out on it every time. I'm like, I've been doing that for like fucking 15 years.
Yeah, and it worked.
And it works. And I don't know another way to play it. So yeah, I've been called out on it. So that is one issue of a resident.
A weekly resident. You'll get a little complacent with the sound. You'll hear certain parts that sound similar week after week.
But a club needs one DJ to play more times in a month to really understand the room. It's so hard to learn a room like that.
And then you don't come back for 4 or 5 weeks, and then it's almost like you're relearning the room, which you are, because the crowd might have changed in 4 or 5 weeks, right? It might have shifted a little bit, where before it was 0 Latin music, and now it's 15% Latin music, and you're readjusting.
Now it's more of a thing I've noticed in clubs where every day it's a different DJ.
Right.
And it's a huge rotation. But when I did start, especially at Opium, it was like, I was there every Friday, I was there every Tuesday, I was there every Thursday, I was there every Saturday. Right. Like, there was no change.
Now, from a DJ standpoint, we were looking at that venue facing, DJ facing. What are pros and cons to having a weekly residency versus having a more diverse, spread out schedule?
Money in your pocket regularly, some type of security, even though
consistency.
Even that job could be taken away like that.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you're...
I lived in that fear constantly.
That's Opium Group, bro. You would get fired mid-set and you didn't even know. Like, what do you mean I'm getting kicked out? I'm DJing. No, you were DJing.
That's why I strive so hard at the time to I wanted a much cooler set than Conflict and Effect. I'm not saying it in a bad way, but I really tried to bring the crowd, something different.
Sure.
So that I was a little more edgier, so that it was like, you can't replace me because no one else can do this.
As far as a weekly resident.
And every time I was replaced, I was brought back because
it wasn't being able to be delivered.
Work.
So do you think that forces you to kind of change up your set by default because you know you're there every week, and so as a DJ, you're almost challenging yourself?
What I was doing was I was like, the set was constantly the same, but it was like, this week these 10 songs got removed and these 10 songs got added.
So dabble a little
It was a progression.
Got it.
Except for Soldier,
which is still in the track list.
You know, and then the thing where you're saying about rotating, I think it makes people want to work harder. At least I hope. Sometimes people are still lazy and they'll just be like, oh, whatever, I'll do whatever set.
That's out of our control.
But you really want to crush it when you play at a new venue. Like,
what are some things that you can do to prepare to make sure that you do crush it? Because I'm not a DJ, obviously, but I can see like, okay, I'm playing at this venue for the first time in 3 weeks. I can see major anxiety, right? Like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know if I'm going to do good. How do I make sure I do good?
All right, I'm like, all right, who played there? All right, Joe Moss played there. All right, Crespo played there. All right, you know, some big DJ they booked played there. Okay, I know what Crespo plays. I know what Joe plays. I know what Afrojack plays. It's like, okay, like be prepared to do all of that.
Right.
You know, and then like I just played at Emberd. Very, very awesome place too.
That's in Tampa, right?
Yeah.
Emberd, yeah.
And I saw they had just booked Joe Moz and they had just booked somebody, I think Gordo maybe, I can't remember. Yeah, Gordo. And I was like, okay, so this could be anywhere in between. I prepared both sets, you know, and then when I got there, it was none of those two.
Okay.
But I was prepared.
What did it end up being?
It ended up being, you know, it started off, you know, they were telling me big high room energy, Vegas bangers.
Okay.
But when I got there, the opener had set such a good vibe where people were just grooving and dancing. It wasn't loud. It wasn't high energy. I was like, all right, I guess I'm just going to have to follow his lead.
Piggyback off it.
Yeah, and I built it up from there. But, you know, if I would have went in with bangers, I probably would have lost the crowd.
Right. Night would have ended earlier.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's very, very important for DJs just to be prepared to go in every direction.
Okay.
So that you can do a good job. Because I've done it a lot in my early days where it was like, I'm playing here tonight. This is what I'm going to play, and I'm not going to
veer away from this.
Not going to veer away from it. And then you're committed 10 songs in. You're like, shit, no one's liking it, but fuck, maybe, you know, I got to keep going. You know, that also made me a bigger DJ when I was happy to abandon what I thought I was going to play.
Talk that stress through. You're 10 songs in. It's not working. When does the drop of sweat start forming, right? What are the thought processes to get yourself out of your head and back into the moment?
Oh man, anxiety is like,
insane.
It's killer because, you know, you don't want to lose your job. And like, you know, clubs, like you play one wrong song and they're like, why are you fucking playing this?
They judge the whole set
and
based on that one thing.
It was just one song. I thought maybe they'd like it. It's about to be the most popular song in America.
3 weeks from now, you're going to want this song played. And then we're going to have to
I remember playing, at the time I knew the A&R, forget what label it came out on. I think it was Def Jam. OT Genesis Coco came out. So I got an early release of it and I played it and like some of the staff was like, fucking turn this shit off. Like, what is this? Like, I think it's going to be a big song. You know, fast forward like a month later, it's the biggest song in America.
Every venue was playing it.
I learned that from Conflict, watching the way he can quickly get out of anything. Something's not working, like, just be ready to fucking jump out.
Do you tell yourself something like that keeps you grounded in that moment? Like, yo, get out of your head. 10 songs sucked, whatever. The 11th is going to be the best song.
If I'm not feeling the set, what I will do is, mentally, I'm just like, all right, Obi, just reset.
Reset.
It's like the night just started again.
You go do a 5-minute yoga meditation, come back, crush your shit.
No, I'm literally in my med. I'm just like, yo, I was like, fuck that. It's just, the night starts now.
Okay.
Let's do a better job.
So you would say keyword or trigger word, reset. Like reset. Get out of your head and just reset. There's the first song of the night.
Yeah, because if you're in a bad mood, being in a bad mood will affect anything.
Big facts. Even how they see you, right? The crowd sees you.
But like, being in a bad mood doesn't affect, it'll affect you driving your car. You might curse at this person. Mm-hmm. But as a DJ, you're like on this island by yourself. You can't leave.
Yeah, you can't run away.
You can't run away. A lot of times, like a manager, they can't even kick you off.
Right.
Because there's nobody to replace you with.
Right.
So you have to figure out a way, like, You have nobody to cry to. You have nobody to complain to. Like nobody to help bail you out. So it's like you gotta learn to figure it out.
It's almost what do they call like wrestling, golf, like a solo sport, right? Where you're out there on the mat by yourself.
Yeah.
You versus you, and figure it out. Someone's gonna win.
People don't. That's probably the hardest part of DJing, to be honest, is that mental. You're by yourself.
So I'm so glad you brought that up. I don't have this written down, but you're the exception to me, right? In the sense of, or one unexception, where I've learned throughout the years of really getting to know DJs. You would think as like a regular person thinking of a DJ, they are like, that guy's the life of the party. He's the center of attention. He must have 100 girlfriends. Like that guy, is friends with everyone.
Yeah.
And the more I really get to know DJs, the more I've learned that for the bulk majority, you're all introverts. You're not extroverts. You're not the center of attention. You're the DJ because you want to be alone in your DJ booth working on your craft, right? If not, you would be standing in front of the DJ booth going fucking crazy, meeting all the girls on the dance floor, right? So it's like the really good creative DJs I've noticed are like to themselves, like leave me the fuck alone and let me do me. Like you brought up Conflict a bunch of times, right? Like Conflict's not out there like yelling on the mic, follow me on IG, he'll perform.
He's probably reading a book right now.
He's reading a book on how to get better at insert the blank here, right? So it's like, it's not like, these DJs are at the beach hanging out with each other on a Tuesday. No, they're like doing their own thing. And
most times I've also learned is,
my question is
DJ
why?
will never give you a compliment.
Yeah, sure.
Like no one's ever going to tell you something positive.
It's kind of like Google Yelp reviews these days, right? You only drop the negative.
Everyone's better than you, or like.
Why do you think it lends to that? Why are DJs really introverts when, everything about it would tell you that they're extroverts?
I can't imagine other than the fact of like maybe none of us were cool and now we are cool.
Nice. Okay. So it might be an outlet of finding or getting that cool factor after not having it, essentially.
I don't think that's how I felt, but I think that could be like part of what people like.
Well, that's why I say you're the exception, right? Because you weren't 8 years old in your room looking up to AM Only, learning cuts and scratches. Like you were the promoter, extrovert, friends with everyone, super good person, and then you transformed into this other thing, right? So it's like,
I think I got a high off of the. It's going to sound bad, but like being able to control a group of people,
the experience that they were having. Yeah,
like because of me, maybe not because of me, I can't say for sure, but like because of me and the vibe I created, like, you had a good time. I really got off on that. Like,
at bare minimum, you're part of the equation, right? Because the light guy has something to do with it. The floor
guys
staff
have a lot
has
to do
something
with
to do with it, right? There's a combination of things.
It's not like
without
I'm
the
the club.
DJ setting the vibe, the lights could be, the best lights in America and no one cares, right? As a matter of fact, without the right music, they're probably annoying. Right? Get these lights out of my face. So, all right, going from DJ talk to industry talk. And we're speaking specifically entertainment, nightlife industry.
Yeah.
Okay. What are, in your opinion, some challenges that the industry is facing today in 2025?
People are broke.
Okay. I agree. There's definitely a little bit of a money issue. And what has that caused? What has that caused?
No, maybe they're not broke. Because people find a way to have a good time no matter what.
I agree, but I think there is less expendable income than there was, 10 years ago.
I think the trend of like going out to a club and getting a table and buying that like bottle to show off, it's kind of died down a little bit, maybe.
Yep.
It's turned into like, okay, we're gonna go out to I could be wrong, but it felt like we're not really going to show off anymore. We're going with our friends and we're gonna get as much as we could drink.
Right.
We're not going to get 50 bottles.
We're getting a section for us to have a good night.
We'll get the minimum.
There's this like now like bottles coming out in I forgot what the hell it's called. There's a song after it. Something with an F. Basically, don't bring the sparklers. Don't bring anything. Bring it. Oh, stealth mode. Yeah. Right. I want my bottles delivered in stealth mode. Yeah. Like, we don't want the rats in the building to know.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is a little bit of a trend where the people that are really spending money nowadays, it's because they're spending it for themselves.
I think
and the small group that they're with.
inflate. I don't think bottles prices have changed because it's always going to be 1,500 minimum, $5,000 for a table, whatever. But the bottle price doesn't seem to have changed since I've started.
The bottle minimums, the prices definitely have changed. It was $350, $375 back in the day. Now you're getting an Evian for $350. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like the bottle price hasn't changed for the club.
Yeah, right.
What has changed is the price of a drink at the bar.
Okay.
And now, like, you know, I go out with a girl or my friends, and I gotta get a nice fit. Clothes are expensive.
Yep.
You know, drinks are expensive. Shots, $30. A shot of 42 was what, $50 now?
Easy.
You know, I'm only drinking 42, so I gotta get that. I think the price of everything has just gone up. We're like, I can't have a good time now for under $500 by myself.
I agree. And that's like, you're not eating dinner.
Yeah, when I started, like, I could have a good time for $25.
In Coconut Grove back in the day, you had $10 on a cigarette and you were straight the whole night.
But even in a dive bar, it's like, my tab's not going to be under $150.
Right.
You know, I think that's changed. And I don't know, maybe people are like,
what challenge has that faced? Do you think less people are going out because of it?
I think also too,
or going out less times?
It seemed to me too, like people were going out more for, not even too long ago, but they were going out to party. And now people are just going out because it's John Summit's playing tonight.
Is that the city's fault? Or like, did Miami kind of welcome that by only having certain clubs open with these big names?
No, I think they were just competing with each other and competing with what, you know, it's like, how can I get more people to come to my club? Oh, I got to get John Summit. Or
I got to get the bigger DJ.
Tiesto. I got to get like the biggest thing. I do think it is kind of going backwards into like, it's either going to be Tiesto or it's going to be me.
And nothing in between works anymore.
Nothing in between.
I agree with that.
We're either going to save the money and book a good DJ, local artist that'll hold the room down, and we'll do good numbers, or we're going to book Tiesto and fucking ball out.
Yeah. Or they'll get some of that Tiesto budget that's not used and put it into production or extra dancers or whatever could make the night a little different, but it's no longer that $5,000 DJ. That's like a thing.
I don't think people want to go out as much anymore.
I agree.
Because I remember when we were working, you know, Mansion, for example. Mansion was one club on the beach. There must have been 60.
It was so many.
And we would fill Mansion with 1,400, 3,000 people like in and out of the doors.
4 times a week.
Yeah. On a Wednesday.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, towards the end when they had that party going.
So like now you can't fill up Wynwood with the amount of people we could fit in Mansion. That was just one club,
right? All
doing crazy numbers. I don't know. People aren't going out. Maybe this new generation doesn't want to party. They just want to get like kicked in the nuts and do viral videos. I have no idea.
So I try to stay connected with the youth. And it's been a challenge lately, right? I've always kind of find someone to mentor that's interested in the hospitality space, and like, you know, from the original names down to when, you know, Moda, down to, you know, and the names kind of trickled down the list of people. And I think the 19-year-old kid right now wants to party and dance where the 26-year-old doesn't. So I'm seeing this switch in trends where we're towards the end of the coattail of what you're talking about. Kick me in the nuts. I'm cool on fucking Vine, right? To
Vine?
Well, because
is Vine still a thing?
No, absolutely not. But the 26, 28-year-old probably was on Vine when he was 18 trying to be cool.
Yeah.
Right? So that was like his era of growing up. I'm off with the years, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the 19-year-old now is like up on music. Like they could name you the up and coming artist. They can name you Clooney's last 14 tracks, you know, like
they're buying his merch and they're showing up to space early and they're
but the crowd between our age and the 19-year-old, there's a big gap in the middle where you lost purpose to go out. And I want to touch on that because I think there's a good reason for it. The 28-year-old, right? Or fuck it. The young 30-year-old, right? Were partying when Instagram came out. Okay. So pre-Instagram, MySpace didn't offer the feature of balling. It was an actual platform to have friends and to like network.
Yeah.
But Instagram was the first time that you were like,
this is what I'm doing
chick,
now.
Right? Picture, big dick energy, post.
Yeah.
Now you have 20 girls in your DM Or you get no girls in your DM. So what do? You open this other new app that came out, Tinder. And now you're just swiping, right?
Yeah.
And you're saying left, left, right, left, right, left, right. Well, that's actually what you used to do with your boy at the table 10 years ago. You were swiping as girls walked by. Nah, not interested. Yo, she's bad. Go get her and bring her to the table. You swiped left. Your friend went up to her and said, hey, my buddy has a table over there. Would you like to join us? Yeah, I'm super down to join you. She swiped left back, but in real life.
Could it be that, like, another question I have to myself is, like, if I wanted to know if a party was going to be good, I had to go.
Yes.
Now I could be like, how many people are there right now?
Right.
Does it look like a good time?
Is that video from tonight or last month when they had this really big DJ and they just made an edit to the video?
The idea of needing to capture it live, it's like, well, I can already see what happened.
Right. The FOMO goes out the window. And let's also talk about spending the money, right? Like you would spend money back in the day on a table to be seen, right? Those bottles would come out, the whole room, the parade, blah, blah, blah. The whole room just automatically looks at you. Well, now you can get that on Instagram, you know, not that I would condone this type of thing, but like go rent a Lamborghini, take a picture in your fake Gucci shirt and post it. And that's you being seen now. And more people will see you on Instagram with that stupid fake picture than however many people were in mansion looking at your table back then.
Yeah.
So why spend $5,000 on a table when I could spend $1,000 on a rented car and a fake t-shirt?
I don't know. Maybe, I mean, if you come to think about it, going to a club and spending a lot of money on a table, it's stupid.
Oh, 1,000%.
So maybe people are realizing like, man, this is stupid. Why would I do that?
1,000%. I think
Why don't I just save the money and invest it?
No, well, that's definitely not what they're thinking.
Why don't I buy a house?
But I do think there's a little bit of a trend where less people are drinking. That's another thing. More people are on the healthy nut type of trend. And
people are healthier than they've ever been.
And back in the day, it was...
Miami was an unhealthy place.
Oh, no, healthy place. Okay. What do you love about this industry?
I love, for me, that it's given me this, like, you know, a creative outlet that I was never able to get anywhere else.
Okay. Do you draw or do anything else artistic?
I could draw.
Not currently, but I'm saying like growing up.
I could draw. I've always been somewhat artistic in every field, especially being creative. But I love that like, you know, if you really have enough drive and like if you're smart the way you move, like you can make a really good living off of this. Still. You know, it gives me the ability to still put out music and
well, shit, the ability to put it out is step 2. Step 1 is it gives you still the ability to make music, right?
Yeah.
Which is very, I'm assuming, creatively fulfilling.
It's a great industry in the sense of like every kind of person goes to a club.
Right.
You know, like maybe not every kind.
Or a bar or a lounge or a high-end restaurant at this point. Because, you know, clubs aren't the only things with DJs.
So through it, I've been able to meet, you name it, every kind of person. Good people, bad people, evil people,
professional people,
people that give
bums.
me tips on stuff, like long life friends now that I've had. I think it's this cool. It forces everyone, because like one thing that I've noticed, everyone as just a human, like you like music. So if let's say I went out, because I still go out too to like catch a DJ I like or a band or something I like. All these people are. I might not look like this person, but we share the same interests.
There's a commonality amongst it.
So because of that, I can have a conversation and meet cool people.
That was my fix as a promoter. I was able to exchange value. We go back to added value, right? I was able to build a relationship with people that I wouldn't have crossed paths with any other way. And to this day, like you said, right? Some of my lifelong friends were people I used to take care of at Cameo back in the day, Mansion back in the day. Police officers, you know,
if you
doctors.
can get someone into a club, man, people like you.
1,000%. But I think also it goes beyond that of like, I didn't do a good job of this when I was younger.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I didn't capitalize enough either.
1,000%. And also I did so many favors for people I knew were dirtbags or like I didn't want to be friends with because I felt like I had to. Yeah. Where if I can do it all over again, that'd be one of the things where I'd have a little more fuck
I don't know anybody.
Yeah, I'd have a little more fuck you
man, I don't know nobody.
Instead of thinking that like I'm like my job is to make sure that everybody has a great experience, you know, unbiasedly. Nah, you know what? I should have been a little more biased. If you're a piece of shit, go to the back of the line, you know, and I regret that.
Like, okay, here's a story about, I've never done cocaine.
Okay.
Maybe the only person left in Miami who's never done cocaine. Okay. But But people used to ask me to get them drugs all the time.
Okay.
And I used to get it for them.
Sure. You're in the club and so are the drugs.
Yeah. And this is like a famous person I know, or like, you know, somebody I'm trying to like, you know, hook up with, or like get something, get like a deal going with them of some sort. Nowadays, I would have been like,
Absolutely not.
well,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. I'm a cop.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I do know what you mean. I bent over backwards for a lot of people.
For so many people. And like I look back now and I'm like,
But then you meet a bunch of cool people where you're like, you're the manager of the DMV?
right.
Oh,
How do you get that job? You know, like how do you even
yo,
end
man,
up
I need
there?
to renew my license. Remember
Absolutely.
me? You're in the DJ booth?
Absolutely.
Come on in.
When you can skip the DMV line, that's the plug, bro. Forget the club.
This guy worked there for like years. And then he quit. He sent me the story one day. He's probably going to watch this. But he told me that he wanted to be a DJ, that I inspired him, and he loved watching me DJ, and that like he's going to quit everything he does.
You're like, fun fact, I want to be at the DMV.
He quit everything to be a DJ. Now he's DJing.
No shit.
But in my mind, I was just like, fuck, man.
Now how do I
don't
skip
do
the
that.
line?
I need to renew my license soon.
How do I skip the line now? He has to have a connection, because if not, you can't help him.
He's a good dude, man.
Obi, before we wrap up the convo, I wanted to get into a couple of guest preference questions, okay? The first one is specific to you, okay? I won't say the actual date, but I do know it because we share a week apart from each other for our birthday.
Oh.
But you are infamously known for...
What date?
The 3rd.
The 3rd.
Yeah. And you're infamously known for celebrating your birthday every day.
Yeah.
Right? How the hell did that come about?
That came about, I used to go to this club called Soho Lounge. You remember Soho
absolutely,
Lounge?
yeah.
Yeah, Soho Lounge was the original hipster spot. That's really
The smallest, tiny rooms, but
that's
there
where
was
I
like
used to
100
wait
of them.
in. That was before anything. That was me, working all week, saving up to go to Express to buy a shirt.
Yes, 2 for $30, bro. You had to get two
like
this week and next week.
$20 to get in or whatever. That was like...
I knew a guy that used to sell them at FIU in the promoter meeting. I'm not saying any names, but...
And I was like broke as shit, man. Like really, I wasn't getting paid a lot, like working with my dad. And I used to just like hang out at the bar and I'd be like, it's my birthday. And somebody would buy you a drink.
For your birthday,
like,
okay.
Oh, come on, man.
Okay.
And then I quickly realized no one will ever ask you to see your ID, or like, no one lies about that. So I used to start saying it was my birthday a lot. And I realized in a weird way, it brought people like joy for it being someone else's birthday.
They felt like they were contributing to
You
your
could
celebration.
be suffering from cancer and it's my birthday and you're just like, fuck it, yeah.
It's his birthday.
Happy birthday, man.
Yeah,
Let me buy
absolutely.
you a drink.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I was broke and I figured that was a good way to get free drinks.
Okay. And was any of these free drinks the convertible race car?
That was, no, back then this was before I knew what tequila was.
Okay.
Because like back then too, like when I first started going, there wasn't good tequila. It was like
Right. It was Patron. Yep. Which is god
and
awful.
like Don Pepe or whatever the other plastic bottle shit they...
And Jose
No one
Cuervo
drank-
somewhere
no
in
one
the
drank
middle,
tequila.
but it never got to the club. That was
Yeah.
more, cruise.
We were drinking
cruise
vodkas
vibes.
and Miller High Lifes.
Nice. Where did the convertible race car come from? And do you want to explain what the hell I'm talking about?
So I'm working. I love
I only asked because I used to drink convertible race
convertible-
cars, and I didn't know they were called convertible race cars.
convertible race car is 3 parts tequila,
Half a part.
0.5 Red Bull, a little splash on top. Sometimes you can, mix it in good.
Yeah.
Nice.
So let me remind you of a story. Okay. We're at Mansion. I believe it was Mansion. 360, the new Mansion,
Yeah.
when the booth was, right when you walked in. And I walked in with a drink. You had a drink. You're like, hey man, do you want a convertible race car? And I looked at you and I was like,
I used to say it like I was common knowledge.
it was the thing. Yeah. And I looked at you like you were a maniac. And I said, no, it's okay. I'm drinking tequila Red Bull. And you're like, convertible race car. I still haven't processed it, right? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And probably somewhere along that term, because it was probably like 2 a.m. after a couple
I was trying to make
it.
it famous.
You almost did. So you look at me and you go, convertible race car, man. The tequila has you feeling like you're in a convertible. but the Red Bulls got you in the race car vibes.
No, man, I was
And
like,
I cheered you up. And
no, I was
yeah.
just saying the same thing. I was like, it's like if you're driving a convertible race car, like, and I was like, it's like, imagine if NASCARs were convertible. It's that crazy.
This is what you're having, you know? And so I wanted to ask where it came from.
I used to do a lot of stuff with Red Bull.
Okay.
Which I never drank Red Bull prior to working with Red Bull.
Okay.
So I'm drinking tequila at the time because I had met Roman Jones, and that's
You had to.
It's really how I grew so fond of tequila. Like I used to do a lot of tequila shots with him, and I was drinking rum at the time, which was making me fat.
Okay. A lot of sugar.
Yeah, and then this waitress was like, "Well, tequila's got no
Calorie count and blah blah blah." And if you drink it with soda, it's
it
healthy.
just makes you get abs. You know? Yeah, so I'm DJing with Red Bull, all these events, and they're like, you gotta, for the cameras and stuff, you gotta be drinking Red Bull if you're gonna drink something.
Okay.
I feel like nowadays they probably couldn't say that. Like somebody from HR would be like, well, you can't tell them what to drink.
Right. Especially something that's not good for you.
But I was like, all right. So I started mixing it with tequila, and I was just like, this shit's like,
This is it.
it's like speedballing. I realized years afterwards why I've developed sleeping problems.
Absolutely. You shaved off 12 years of your life with
because
all the
I
race
had
cars.
so many problems sleeping for a lot of my career, and I was like, I can't sleep. That's me.
nerves.
Yeah, and then I was
It's
like,
not
wait a
that 8
minute.
cans of Red Bull you have a
Yeah,
night.
I've been drinking like 8 cans of Red Bull, and 2 bottles of tequila. So that's where it came. And then I just I wanted to give it a name to hopefully
Red Bull's going to put it on the menus down the line, right?
That's
what
what
you
I
were
was
envisioning,
thinking.
right?
I was thinking in my mind
A race car with Obi's face on it. Convertible.
Like Red Bull gives me a deal later where I'm like, the creator.
Red Bull gives you wings, but it gives me convertible race cars.
Yeah, and in my mind, I really imagine these convertible Mustangs with roll cages and numbers on the sides, doing 200 miles an hour in a circle. I'm like, that would be fun.
This is what it feels like at 3 a.m.
I
right
was
now.
like, no one's done that.
That's
what this drink
hilarious.
feels like.
Favorite book?
Favorite
Lifelong book. It could be a child book. It could be something you read recently.
Man, I don't read.
You don't read shit.
At all. I haven't read. I can read.
Okay.
But I
choose not to read.
Just watch it.
All right, fair enough. I mean, and I was hoping you're older. I was gonna get a book question for you, but that's a common answer from
I
everybody.
ain't gonna lie.
They'll say a book or whatever, and then they'll be like, "Well, I didn't read it. I heard the audiobook." Yeah, all right, we're getting somewhere. Last question on my end. I kind of try to end with this question, and I have to paint a picture. So, I believe as humans we evolve daily, monthly, yearly. Right? You're not the same human you were when you were 3 years old. It's impossible.
Yeah.
But I do believe that it's really important. There's something about childhood memories that when you reflect and think back on it and you put yourself in that room, or that church or that field, you can smell it, you can hear it, you can feel it. And I feel like every once in a while as humans, we need to do a good job of remembering our inner child, right? Because back then when we knew nothing, we were doing things because we wanted to do it, or we were doing things because it made us happy. Because you weren't 6 years old and going outside and raking the leaves because you had to, right? So anything you did throughout your day, whether it was N64 or beat up your sister or anything along the lines, was because you wanted to do it. And it brought you happiness. And fast forward, it obviously made you the person that you are, the accumulation of all these stories and situations. So I like to ask, all guests in this place, what's a childhood moment that I just made you think about? What's something, right? Give me a little Obi story, and what is that? Paint it, right? Where were you? What were you doing? Why is it special to you? And what did that story kind of maybe do for you, right?
Well,
and it could be anything.
A couple of things before I tell you that. I foolishly, even in my old age, it's because I'm a Gemini, I believe, but I do everything on emotion.
Okay.
I don't do it because it's right or it's a smart investment.
Sure.
I do it because I like that. Yeah. I drink that because I like it. I buy that because I like it. I don't know how long I'm going to be here, so fuck it. 2 Porsches.
Yes.
And if I can get a 3rd one, I'm going to get it
and
too.
I'll let you know it's too
and
low.
I still can't go to Home Depot and get anything.
Right.
But I like it. And I think people should live a little bit like that.
With balance.
Yeah, being worried of everything is not a good way to live. But one thing I can't really pinpoint anything other than like just remembering, and I think about this because I try to figure out how to get back to that.
Yes.
As a child, we had imagination
Yes.
where like I can remember as a kid, like I wanted to be an astronaut, and I had this one, so stupid, but I had this like one section of my closet that I built this spaceship inside.
Yes.
And in my mind, I was really fucking traveling to space, you know, as stupid as that sounds now. But like what I wish I could figure out is like how to, like, something as a kid made me really believe that I was passing the moon and I was in outer space and there were stars around me and I was actually
This is
blasting.
what gravity feels
And
like.
I really believed it. And I wish I could figure out a way to, you know, I try to figure out ways to how to channel like the belief of something that even isn't real,
Sure.
you know, to achieve that.
Yeah. Imagination.
Imagination. As we get older, we lose imagination, I wish.
I agree big time. And a lot of these
I don't know if that
childhood
answered
moments.
your question.
It did. That was a childhood moment. You in the closet, in your spaceship that you probably made out of like a broken cardboard box somewhere or something with a hanger on top holding it or some shit, right? And like to me, I had this race car bed, right? For like many years beyond that I probably should have had the race car bed. It was just like I didn't have another bed. So we're still
Last
sleeping
year I
in it.
got rid of it.
Yeah. I mean, I still have it at home. So it had this trunk in the front where like, you know, my mom would keep all the sheets and stuff that I wasn't using. And I'd go in there,
Yeah.
you know, and like, and then fast forward, I'm like claustrophobic now. And it was probably because of all the time that I would spend in the trunk of my car or my bed. And then, you know, after that bed, I got a big boy bed and it had this gap between the bed and the floor, right? It was a little bit raised. And I remember specifically, you know, as a kid, you also imitate things that you see, right? Without
Yes.
knowing why you're imitating it or why you even got drawn to that, right?
Yeah.
But my dad was always in business, right? From owning his own real estate company to, you know, fast forward.
My dad used to always carry around like a fucking fat wad of cash.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to do that. And then like fast forward when I actually got money, I would do the same thing. And I was like,
why am I doing this? It's
Why don't you
stupid.
just
I'm
put
going
it
to
in
get
the
robbed
bank?
one
Yeah.
day. I have a credit card. What am I doing? But you saw that as a kid, so you connected to it. My dad had this little black briefcase, right?
same.
And I would always see him take this notebook out of the briefcase and go to work.
Yeah.
So I had the little gap between my bed where I made that my office. And I would literally tell my mom, hey mom, I'm going to the office. Don't bother me. And I'd go under the bed with this little notebook that I had this big. I didn't even know if I could write.
Probably not the most productive place to work.
No, definitely not. Dark, upside down, blood rushing in my head. I'm writing like this, right? But I was at work.
Yeah.
I was this thing. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what work was. I didn't know what an office was. I don't know why I have this notebook in my hand. But I saw a lot of that. And now fast forward, it's like I'm at work with a notebook and like light this time because I know I need it. But like,
Yeah.
I wish I'd go back under my bed sometimes. Because what I used to think about down there, it was like this free flow of thoughts that like you would never think clearer, even if you were imagining of things, right? Where I can't get that type of focus today.
You know, and you probably were at this point where like it was like you were doing it because you wanted to, and it wasn't like shit, you got to pay taxes, you got to like you got to make sure the office's lights are on and that everyone's making money as well, and that your artists are working. So like
all that stress kind of comes on board and it eats away at the imagination. It eats away at the ability. So I like forcing our guests to go back to that moment, right?
Yeah.
Even if I made you go to that closet for 6 seconds today and you thought about it, maybe on your way home, you're like, you know what? I can still be a fucking astronaut. You know what I mean? Like, because I think we all can do.
Or even when I first started DJing, my DJ setup was in front of my mirror. So like I would look at the mirror and just somehow I imagined a crowd.
Yes. Fast forward, you played for that crowd
that
you imagined in your head. So, Obi, thank you so much for your time, dude. You have no idea. It means the world. You're always somebody that we've been in the same room for the most part of our careers with few, you know, outliers here and there.
It's probably the Gemini in us, but I feel like both of us have a desire to succeed or to accomplish.
1,000%. And do it in our way, right? Like not follow the trend or like play the game because you have to. I think we're still playing the game that we chose to play back then, and we're doing it our way.
For sure, you're also pretty surprised that you've lasted. You know, I look at myself every day. I'm like, in a good way, I'm like, I can't believe I've been fortunate enough to
still doing this.
Still like do this.
1,000%. And I mean, you're not the same Damaged Goods from 20 years ago or 15 years ago when it started, but
No, you also said something. Sorry, I know the thing's got to end, but
no,
like,
hell no.
because you did say something about how like humans like constantly evolve,
Mhm.
and I feel like almost every 3 to 4 years a person completely changes.
Correct.
Where it's the next phase where I don't really like this food anymore.
Right.
You know,
Right.
now
My body's kind of not reacting well
I
with
don't like this kind of music anymore, and I like this kind of art now, and that shit was kind of dumb back then. And so yeah, I do.
I
Believe,
do like waking up early all of a sudden, where back in the day I couldn't, go to sleep early. It's
I
like
believe people evolve, and I think they have to be conscious of that.
1,000%. But never lose sight of that inner child, because that's a compass of its own, man, and it'll get you places if you allow your brain to go there, that other things can't do. Do me a favor, for everybody listening, plug yourself in. Where can they find your socials? Where can they find your music? And anything else that you want to,
So
get
I
some
am
traction on?
Damaged Goods. At I am Damaged Goods everywhere, and the record label I run is Confession label.
Nice.
Yeah.
Give them both a follow. Quality guys in the industry, been around forever, not going anywhere. Has some unproven things to get done.
I'm still not done.
And one day we're gonna see him on the moon, because that astronaut's gonna come out. So
I've been dying to go to the moon. I saw Katy Perry go to space, and I was like, it's not fair.
now everybody can fucking do it. So Obi, we'll do this again, but
Cool.
But thanks again, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.